When I started working in this industry, and I thought like, wow, it's so good to have a international like man, because like you probably can't fight, because in Russian you can like fight properly.
Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Striker.
My name is Luba.
Now, hey, Luba, just before we start this video, I've heard that Google Translate has been going around and he's been trying to like rip apart couples that we're creating. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
For many years now, but the last one worth the full video for our YouTube channel. So let us share the story that happened recently. And the situation is that like when I started working in this industry, like it just become like popular to like use this Google Translator when guys from US was coming with smartphones, when here was not that popular even. And because I can measure my experience by iPhones, like when I started it was iPhone 3 and so but just guys have this iPhone 3 and the girls was not, so it's how the iPhone era started. But anyway, so and of course I should say that Google Translator become much more better like since all these years, and it translates better, it makes some sense, but not always. And like here we want to give you example of the situation that happened with our couple. And Striker, I think that he also have some funny stories of his living in Ukraine when he need to go into more deeper conversation and he need to use a translator, but how it actually end up. So the story about Google Translator translation who ruined the relationship. So we had a guy in Ukraine and he went on a little private vacation with his lady in Ukraine. So the lady doesn't speak English, but they had an awesome time. They was like really enjoying each other. Everything was wonderful, great. And one day he give us a call. It was pretty late at night, and he said, Luba, Striker, like that's it, like I don't want to stay with this girl anymore, like she's terrible, she's like nightmare. And we was like shocked because everything was so good, right? He was like reporting his trip and everything was incredible, and he was like so like angry and upset. Not even angry, but he was upset that this brilliant relationship just—
He was shocked.
He was shocked. Yeah,
that
they fall apart. And we started like talking to him and asking what is happening, and he said that I don't want to say any countries and any names or anything, of course, but he said that while he was in Ukraine, he got notification that in his country they have to start they need to bring the test or something like that, something with the COVID, of course. And so he was a little bit worried about that. He was at the restaurant, she was sitting next to him, and then like she left, and then after that it like this Google translation become like really like a snowball, like growing, because she messaged him something, he didn't reply, she was worried, then he replied, then she replied, and so it was just terrible. So the idea that he gave to us, and this lady was working in travel industry, and so that idea that he gave us, that she told him that she's gonna go back to her home city because she need to do some tour for somebody apparently, and
she had to go back to work.
But to the tour, like I will make a point on that, to do some tour, and he assumed that she need to go back to work. And then she said that about tomorrow she doesn't really care about him, like she doesn't care if he wants to stay in a hotel or he wants to do a tour, like she doesn't care, like, and it was said like many times, and that's it. So this translation was like weird. I was thinking that there's something more to the story, there's something else, but
because she was like back at the hotel and he was like working in the restaurant trying to figure out something
about this test and etc. So the bottom line is that he said, I don't want to stay with her at the same hotel, I want to just leave, like Luba, arrange me a car. And it was like closer to midnight already, so it was like pretty late. And then Striker told him to go to her room and just
go to the room and just make sure that she's okay, like don't do anything, don't jump to any, because we thought that what he was saying was so bad, it was so solid, so
there's no way any other way to think about that.
So he said that he would, and he went back to her room and he went to just sort of say, like, I don't know, I guess
that's it, like
that's it, like if you want, like I've done all this for you and I've taken you away from me and now you want to leave. And anyway, like then...
And then he called me back, and it was already like around 1 a.m. And I was looking at my phone thinking, like, should I really respond? Like, honestly, it's so late. And then I decided, no, I have to do it. And he said, like, can you please tell her, like, I don't, like, she asking what's happening, she can't understand. Can you tell her the story? And then something in my mind told me that to not say that, to say, you know what, I'm a translator, I'm a professional translator, and can you please tell what you want and I will translate. He was like very upset with me. He said, I don't want to repeat all that, you know, the story, just go for it, tell this. I said, no, I will only translate what you say. When I start translating, like, I wish I would see the face of this girl, but she was like absolutely shocked. She was literally just absolutely, like, she was almost like, she doesn't want to cry, but she was like, she can't understand what's actually happening, because quickly will tell you the story, what she mean. She said that they book a tour for the next day while he find out this news about the testing. So she doesn't want to be annoying, and she left the restaurant, not because she was mad at him, she just wanted to leave him alone and not be like annoying talking to him and trying to help when she can't help. So she was waiting for him in her room, but she booked a tour for the next day. And the guy who was going to take them on the tour, he was messaging and say, are you going or no? And she, like, the message about I don't care, was that I want to be with you no matter where. Do you want to go on the tour or you want to stay at the hotel? I don't care, I want to be with you. So this guy, of course, like, he felt terrible, like he felt bad about that. He was embarrassed, but from one hand it's good, because striker always, like we say about the conflict, right? Like, try to be in conflict and see how you will get out of this conflict, how you will like, what will be the resolution. Will she be temper and stubborn and say, no, like, you offend me, go away? Or she will actually, this girl was very like forgiven, and she really was like making a little bit fun of that. He was felt embarrassed, I think, but
lesson learned on that, you know, on the and like, I even said to him that, you know, like, because she's younger, right? She's like, you know, she's a young in her mid-20s, and he's a young guy as well. It showed, and I said to him, it shows a high level of maturity that she managed to sort of brush that off as just a stupid thing that happened with the Google Translate, that she understood that and then moved past it. And it was good, because I mean, they seem like a really good couple together, you know. So for us, it was like, whew, high five, Luba, you've saved the day on that one. So, and they're still, you know, doing their thing to this very day. So that's it's a real dangerous with Google Translate, you know. And as you can see from what happened here, how fast it can spiral out of control.
Especially, of course, like, it was his fault, right? Like, a little bit, because he was like not thinking positive. He only thought that, you know, maybe she's leaving him, maybe she's.
Well, I don't know if it's his fault or not. Like maybe he was stressed from something else, and he's just like, what, like, you know, like, it was just, it's the dangers of like not being able to communicate on a level that you would normally communicate, and you have to be aware of that when you start.
But you always have to be positive. You always have to think positive and try to manage that without like making any quick assumptions.
Yeah, you have to get, so like, if he didn't have you there, like, it would have been the end of the relationship, right? So you need to be able to have someone there, you know, I guess, or some way to sort of figure that out. But don't assume the worst from the start, because Google Translate is...
Tell your story. It was quite funny what you told me the other day.
A little while ago, I had to go and get something done that was technical, right? It was a technical thing that, like, my Russian would never cover any of this stuff. So it was very technical, and I asked the guy to show me how to do this thing. And so he started doing it, and I could see what he was doing. Then I sort of asked him if I could see that, and he asked for the translator. He pulled out the translator and started talking, and I was reading it as he was talking, as it was typing, and it made sense. It was like, put the red part here and then the green part, and then he just kept on talking and talking and talking, and he didn't stop, and it changed the entire context. And all of a sudden, I'm talking about, it had something about a wet leg in there, and it was like, I don't know, there's a part that like can be translated to the word leg or something, and it was like, spit on the wet leg, and the more and more it went, the more ridiculous this conversation became, you know. It was like, okay, so I sort of read the first part, and I was like, okay, I'll just like YouTube it when I get home, and it might be a bit easier. But the moral of that story, I guess, and we know it anyway, is that when you are using Google Translate, make sure you talk like a child.
And very, very simple sentences, and short.
Yeah, very short. Don't try and like say anything. When you're talking in person to her, like, you may want to talk in more depth and sort of like get more detail in there and be a bit more passionate about it and some emotions. This completely breaks Google Translate, because it can't tell the context of what you're actually saying, you know. And there is no direct translation from, you know, Russian to English.
Yeah, word by word.
Yeah, word by word. So when you start translating, it says something, and then the more you say it, it'll change it, and it'll change some of the first words, and it'll put it into whatever case it needs to be in, and change it so what it thinks it is. But it can be so different sometimes, you know. Even like things with like past tense and future tense, you know, it can really mess things up. It's not your friend.
As I say, like if it become much better, it really does. But not like, and even with the couples that I have, what we do is that if the lady is like learning English and she's not great, we always ask, please do not discuss any like important topics, just like through the translator, or try to explain to her something. So for that, for example, in a rocket match, like or a hard rocket, we do have it like if the guy is communicating with the lady, like once a week we have a proper call when all the topics, all the questions that they have, they need to discuss. Like I help them to translate. I understand that I will not always be there for them, but while she's learning that, and maybe it will take like a month or 2 or 3, like it doesn't matter, but once a week it needs to be time when all the important questions need to be discussed without misunderstanding. Otherwise it can ruin your relationship, and you know you will feel pretty upset about that because maybe there was no reason for that. It's just a Google Translator.
Yeah, and she's also going to have those same problems as well. You know, like if you say something and it's translated, she also can take it out of context as well. And it's just the unnecessary evil of starting some of these relationships if her English is not very good or non-existent.
And you know, like it's a little bit problem of Ukrainian ladies as well, because when I translate stuff on a date, like on a proper date, so when the guy says it properly, like it's sentences that I can translate and can tell her the full idea. When the lady speaks, and I don't know, maybe it's like in the whole world problem that ladies has, but especially when she need to come with some answer, she always like say so many separate words, like I don't know how to better explain that. Like it's the way like she say, I kind of I don't know what, so yes, like my purse is, I like blue, and so I have to say him like she like blue purses. And he said, and like I was like so many times when the guy was asking like, Luba, are you sure that you translated all she said? I said, yes, I'm pretty sure. So you have to like understand that Ukrainian ladies, they like to talk around and about, like before they actually got to the point.
I've experienced that before with you actually.
I do want to say that with me.
But even if you do speak, like I have a friend in Kiev, he speaks very, very good Russian, and his wife is Russian, and when they were having some disagreement or some argument and it was escalating out of control, and I was talking to him about it, and I said, do you think part of the problem could be because your Russian is, even though it's good, it's not on a real deep level where you can express what you're trying to say in the way that you want? And he agreed, and he says, I need to learn some more words that would be more appropriate when you're having a fight, I guess, or in an argument. So even if you did speak the same language to the point of conversation, it may not be enough to really express what it is that you're trying to say, if it's something that's like emotional or deep, because you maybe only know 10 words to describe emotion, but you need like 40, you know.
When
or something.
I started working in this industry, and I thought like, wow, it's so good to have a international like man, because like you probably can't fight, because in Russian you can like fight properly, and in English you thought like you can't really fight. And then I still don't.
Yeah, that's true. That's
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's I don't understand what you're saying. Oh, that's speak Russian.
No, but anyway, like you can fight any language without language. But try to be positive. I think that very important is to think positive. And when you have some misunderstanding or disagreement, try to find the solution for that before you make a sharp and like very strict conclusion that that's it, we not match, and etc. So if you had such story that Google Translate was messed up a little bit,
just trying to break you up.
Yeah.
Just trying to,
put them in comments. We are curious. And if you have any questions and you want us to do some videos on some particular topic, or you want to talk to us, just send us an email and we will be happy to see you soon.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.